we arrived in Anish's studio, and I still remember this big loft, very cold loft with all the small sculpture covered by yellow, blue, and red pigment. Something that we'll never forget. It's in my eyes now. That it was really in that moment that I said, wow, I want to collect. From the beginning, I understood that collecting was not something just to keep, work in my home, or to take in storage, but for me, collection is to share.
Benvenuti a Ciao Bella. I'm your host, Erica Firpo. For the past 20 years, I've made my home in Rome, where I've worked as a journalist contributing to publications including Afar, Washington Post, Lonely Planet, and Travel and Leisure. I love sharing the stories of Italy's pioneering creators, and I'm bringing these stories directly to you on Ciao Bella. Every week, I'm joined by contemporary artists, heritage artisans, designers, culinary experts, innovative aesthetes, and more. At the crossroads of evolution and tradition, the past and the future, they are working and creating to define and redefine 21st century Italy. Join me as we see Italy through their eyes. Whenever anyone asks me about contemporary art in Italy, my knee-jerk response is Torino. The capital city of Piemonte is amazing for its crazy amount of creativity, artists, and art foundations. And it's the home to Patrizia Sandretto Re Rebaudegno. Dubbed Italy's Peggy Guggenheim by W Magazine, and generally acknowledged as one of the most influential women in the European art world, Patrizia is Italy's patron saint of contemporary art. For the past 25 years, she has been meticulously collecting artwork from artists around the globe and building her multi-thousand-piece contemporary art collection in Torino. Her foundation, Fondazione Sandretto Re Rebaudegno, is an art world destination with 2 locations in Piemonte, an ex-tire factory and a countryside palace, Palazzo Re Rebaudengo. Everything Patrizia does is art-inspired, from dips in her personal plunge pool, a work of art by Patrick Tuttofuoco, to her upcoming grand-scale art project on an island off of Venice. I was lucky to catch Patrizia at Artissima, Italy's annual contemporary art fair. Let's jump headfirst into a conversation with Patrizia on how she began collecting art. It's truly a pleasure to meet you. I've been a fan for many years. I think. Did you start your collection in 1990?
1992.
1992.
I started collecting.
That you had
a trip to London, and in London I discovered contemporary art because I didn't study art. I mean, I graduated in economics. I work in a company of my father. So for me, art was antiques. My mother used to collect porcelain, mice, and Sèvres. So really in a different way. And yes, I went to London in 1992. And I discovered contemporary. But if I have to say, I started with a friend of mine that now she's an old lady, but she was a collector. And we went to visit galleries, we went to visit museum. But if I have to say what completely changed for me was that I met the artist. For me, it was something special.
Can I ask?
To meet. My first studio, I can say because my first studio was Anish Kapoor.
Oh, wow.
Anish Kapoor in May 1992. Was a day like today, very dark, maybe raining a little bit, as London was 30 years ago. And I remember I arrived with Nicholas Lockstead, the owner of the Lisson Gallery, and we arrived in Anish's studio. And I still remember this big loft, very cold, this big loft with all the small sculpture covered by yellow, blue, and red pigment. Something that we'll never forget. It's in my eyes also now. And Anish started to explain his work and so on. And I have to say that it was really in that moment that I said, wow, I want to collect. I want to buy something by Anish. And then I met many of these artists of that generation, Damien Hirst, Julian Opie, all that generation of artists. And I started collecting. And from the beginning, I understood that for me, collecting was not something just to keep, work in my home, or to take in storage, but for me, collection is just to share. I was lucky. I could meet the artists, buy their work, and I really wanted to give back to every people the possibility to see artworks. And then starting to talk with the artist, I understood that in Italy there was a lot of things to do because we were late. Max in Rome opened in 2010, so and so I started in 1992, 93, and so the lack of institution, the fact that I wanted to support, to work with my artist, and also to share my collection, led me to establish the Fondazione. So from 1992 to 1995 for me was an important moment to start collecting, knowing the artist, and thinking what I could do for my artist, for the art world. And so when I established the Fondazione in 1995, I didn't have clearly in my mind what I could do, what was the direction. I didn't have at the beginning, I didn't have any spaces, and so was really a great adventure. The Fondazione was established April 1995, and May 1995 was a part of my collection show, in a part of British art in Modena, in the Galleria Civica di Modena.
Oh, okay.
And I met there Francesco Bonami. And Francesco Bonami curated an exhibition in Venezia during the Venice Biennial in the space.
This
when
is
you
in
enter
1999?
1995.
1995,
95. When you enter in the Arsenale, on the right, there is the bookshop and the cafeteria. In 1995,
there was nothing.
Yeah. We ran this small space, too small because it was 2 floors, and we organized an exhibition by young photographers like young photographers, Shirin Neshat, and so on. And it was my first exhibition with my collection, and then I started to work with Francesco Bonami, and then we start to organize exhibition in Torino without space. Then, as we have a house in the country, a palazzo from the 18th century, and we didn't use this palazzo, so together with my husband, we decided to renovate it.
This is Castello di Rivoli?
No, this is Palazzo Re Rebaudegno
in
Guarene.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly, is the palazzo, and so we start to organize exhibition in Guarene, and then finally in 2002. We opened the space in Torino that tonight we will have the exhibition.
Which I've been to before, and I love this space. I'm curious, and you opened a space in Guarene. How did you bring people to it?
Believe me, that was much easier in 1997 in a certain way than now. Because really in 1997 there is nothing. Castello di Rivoli, finished. When I started, there were not many spaces, many foundations. There was no, and so was really. I remember when the evening that we opened, we inaugurated. There was this square in front of us, full of people. A lot of people came, and so was not difficult to. And even now, it's not difficult because now we have the Palazzo Re Rebaudegno that is in the square where there is the hall of the city, there is the church, and then we have a small hill, 1 kilometer from the castello, and of the palazzo, and in this hill we started to invite artists to realize site-specific sculptures, and so now we have these 2 projects that are going together.
What are some of the artists that have the site-specific sculptures?
We started with some work already in the collection, like Casteröller, for example. Then Italian artists like Stefano Arienti or Ludovica Carbotta. And now we add every year 1 or 2 works. And last year we had Marguerite Humeau. Now this year just we unveil in October, so a few days ago, a new sculpture of Katia Noviskova. Katia is this fantastic artist that worked with, took from the website images of animals, then he manipulated this animal, and then the animals become sculptures. And now we have a big camaleonte, very colorful, very, very nice. And the idea of a cat is then when you take a selfie or a photo with the animal close to you, directly the animal come back to the website, to internet, no? So it's
I like that idea, interactive.
It's very clever. She's very clever. Tonight at home you will see two works by Katia, 2 big monkey. So we have Palazzo. In 2017 I decided to establish a fondazione in Madrid. It's called Fondazione Sandretto Re Rebaudegno Madrid. We are nomadic. We don't have a space already. Maybe we will have, I don't know. We are nomadic. That means that every year we find the right place for the right artist, like we did last year with a very fantastic young painter, that is from Kenya, Michael Armitage, and it was so good because we show in the Academias de Bellas Artes de San Fernando de Madrid, we create a dialogue, we show his drawing just in front of Goya drawings, no? So we want to create some exhibition like that, dialogue, special things. In fact, now in tonight, Ansure Cobris will announce we will have in Madrid next February during Arco Lucas Arruda, that is a Brazilian artist, in the Ateneo, that is like a biblioteca, a space like that in Madrid. So we're working on that. And then in Madrid we did the same project that we do in Torino, that is a residency for young curators. So that means that every year we invite young curators that just finished in the most prestigious schools in the world, the courses, and there is an interview, then the jury, they choose 3 of them, and the 3 curators come to Italy and travel from Torino to Venezia, from Milano to Catania, and the same now, we started 17 years ago in Italy, and now is the 3rd edition, also the same project in Madrid. In this case, they arrive to Madrid and they travel from San Sebastian, Santander, to Barcelona, to Valencia.
So you're doing both editions or just...
In Italy, 17 edition.
Okay.
In annual.
One each year. So in Italy we started 2006, and in Spain we just started 3 years ago.
So they're contemporaneous.
Yes, more or less now are in the same. We invite.
Do they ever meet each other?
They know each other. They know because they know, but because now in Italy are quite many, because 3, 4 are around 3-4 years for 20 years, 50 young curators. So they then at the end of their trips, their travel through Italy, they meet many artists, many galleries, they go to visit the museum director and so on. They come back to Torino, to Guarene exactly, and they curated an exhibition with Italian artists that they met in this travel. And the same happened in Spain. They travel through Spain, and then in Madrid there is an exhibition with the artist from Spain.
This is really cool. It's like a scuola di formazione.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
It's training. No, this is very good. In fact, I received the Lea Award by the ICI, that is the most important institution in New York for curator, and they gave me this award for this project in particular, because it's really a way, because first of all you give the opportunity to 3 young curators from all over the world, because now we also invite an artist from a curator from China, that means also Hong Kong or Vietnam or Thailand, no? And so this is an occasion to invite 3 young curators that they spend 3 months together, traveling, knowing artists in Italy. Then they have to curate in an exhibition, and what we see that happened, that then many of these curators, when they come back in their country and they start to work in museums, in galleries, in hotels, they invite maybe artists that are not the same that invited to the exhibition, other artists that they like.
You're spreading it like a vine.
Yes, and we really, the concept of this project when we started some years ago was how can we support and help Italian artists, at the same time how we can work also with young curators. And in fact we say we can every year to give, how do you say, grant to young artists to go, but in this way we can help 1, 2, 3, 4 artists, and that's all. In this way they come to Italy, they go to visit more than 150 artists. Are not art, not art, but they travel with a curator, Italian curator. They know very well where are the artists, which is the situation in Italy or in Spain, and then they are free to choose the artists that really they like. No, so this for us has been very important to create a network, because I really believe that an institution like mine have to work with artists, support them, commission new work, so give them the opportunity to show new works, not only what already exists, but it's also important training. This is training for me. We have also school. We have a school that is called Campo, and every year they have, in this case it's a little bit different. It's for curator too, but in this case they have to apply, and then generally apply more than 100 curators, say young curators, potential curators. Then we choose 10 of them, the 10 of them participated to our Italian curatorial school.
So are they only Italian students, or
In this case, are all Italian.
and is it like a certificato? Or?
Yes, they have certificate. And what we do, that at the end they are sure to have a stage in one museum in Italy, institution, and so many of them then they found the work.
Is it legato with the university? Is it
No.
So it's
No.
okay. So it's
not legato to university,
and it's 1
but
year.
It's 1 year.
Oh,
Yes,
that's really
it's 1 year.
exciting.
So no, for us it's very important, and we really see that then these young curators. Because when we started with the project, the Young Curator Residency Program, Italian curators start to say, why do you support only curators from all over the world
now you're
and
saying,
not
here's our
Italian
answer.
curators?
We also support
and
them.
so we decided that in this case, for us, it's much more important to do another kind of project because it's 9 months, but not 9 months every day. So they more or less are 1-2 weeks a month. The 1 month they come to Torino and they have frontal lesson. I mean, they stay in Torino. They learn how to curate it, how to write. They work also with the installers of the technician experience, how to do a long form for a press, how to do also for the press release, how to do the insurance,
So
how to do
kind
with
of
the
every
register.
aspect of a gallery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they learn how to manage a museum, a space. In the other part of the year, they travel through Italy, like the foreign curator, and they go to see the artists in their studio, they go to see the galleries. And
So this is called Campo.
Campo.
And what is the international?
Young Curator Residency Program.
And that's Madrid and in
Young
Torino.
Curator Residency Program Torino, Young Curator, just that we use the... And we have a website, special website, in which there are all the curators that participate and all the artists. Is like a platform.
I wish this was alive 30 years ago when I was in art school. Now with all of the art what I find amazing about Torino itself as a city, and also the dintorni, the area around it, is that there is a really abundance of contemporary art and investment in art.
Yes.
Why?
Because Torino, allora, if we start from the Galleria d'Arte Moderna that opened the same 1959, the same age that opened in New York, the Guggenheim. So to give an idea, and already in that Galleria, first of all, the first exhibition in that gallery was works from private collection. So this gives an idea how now in Torino there has always been a great collaboration between public institution and private collectors or institution. And really just in 1959 this happened. Then was a gallery in which many important artists, very young, the Gutai movement, this Japanese, the first exhibition in Europe was in Torino. So it's always been very important and good curators, director of the Galleria, very open.
Lots of artists have lived.
And then arriving a little bit the end of the 60s, Arte Povera, born here.
Exactly.
And so we had a good humus, good terreno, and many artists, they were from Torino, and so this movement started in Torino. And in the same, just to give an idea also of the idea of private, public and so on, at the same period, a group of collectors in Torino, they decided to have a space in which they start to show their collection, but was a very open space. For example, Pasolini, the Orgia, was showed that during that period. So Torino has always been very open, very able to put together the different disciplines of art, and not only art. And many artists were born in this city, they work on this city. So I really believe that when I started collecting, it was quite natural, no, to have a museum like Castello di Rivoli, in which I could see many exhibitions by young artists, to have a situation with many artists living here. And even now, there are many artists that are coming to live here. Some years ago, they start to come here because we have good artigiani, I would say artisans, no?
Right.
For example, Maurizio Cattelan used to come because there is one person that do tassodermista to do the animal, no? And he's here in Torino. Giuseppe Gabelloni used to come here because there was a good right to print the photo. So in Torino we still have good artisans. At the end, live is not expensive like other city. And even now there are many young artists that from all over, Callie Spooner, no?
lives here now.
He's here.
Yes.
So it's a city, it's a very easy city, easy, good also for kids, because we have a lot of green, park and so on. It's not expensive like other city, and in 40 minutes we are in Milano, or we are all over the world. So it's a city that
It's accessible.
it's very accessible. And then, if you can imagine, we have from the Egyptian Museum, that is one of the most
the
famous.
best in the world, outside of Cairo.
Outside Cairo, this is the museum. We have a Museo del Cinema, that is something new that we have a lot of private and public museum for contemporary art, artists. So it's a city, good food. Just if you move from Torino and you go to Alba, to Guarene, where I have my palazzo is 3 kilometers from Alba. So we see Alba and we see Barolo and Barbaresco that are just in front of us, the two cities. So it's a very easy place to live. It's a very easy, and this I think that was good and helped in order to have the city so full of good energy.
There is a lot of really good energy here.
Yes.
Which makes me ask you, why Madrid?
Why Madrid? Because at a certain point of my life, that means 5-6 years ago, I understood that the experience or what I did in the past year, particularly through the Fondazione, could be a good model also to export, to do something outside my city. And so in my mind, I was sure that Madrid was the place to be. But I wanted also to be sure, and so I started to think about London. But London, there are many institutions. So, Paris, Berlin is another good, important place. But Berlin, for me, it's a little bit like Torino. The same sky,
That's interesting.
And so I decided that the best place for me to be Madrid. I speak Spanish. My father had a company many years ago, so I used to spend my summer in Cadaqués. And so it was quite normal to imagine to the same activity that I'm doing in Torino in Madrid. And so I established the Fondazione, and then we decided at the beginning the idea was to have also space. And when COVID arrived, and so we stopped for a certain moment the idea of to have a space, but we started the residenza for curators and to do exhibition. And now my next project is Venezia.
So I had heard something about
From Madrid, now we're working on Venezia.
And is it? I know it's the island where
It's a
that
small
Napoleon.
island.
Yes.
It's a small island just between Murano and San Giacomo.
San Giacomo,
The name
yes.
is San Giacomo. It's a small island. It's not big. It's 12,000 square meters, and was abandoned 60 years ago.
It's the one that has those leftover structures from Napoleone, right?
Okay. Well, yes, Napoleone used the island. It was a gunpowder.
Yes.
Now I show you a photo of my island. My husband and me, we fell in love with this island, so we bought the island. It's good also because we could buy the island. It's not for a long term or things like that. It's our island, and there is a lot
Wait,
of
you can buy an island.
some island in the Venice Lagoon you can buy.
Okay.
Yes, not always, but some of them you could buy, and not only to have in a long term or something like that. And so we bought, and we have a lot of things to do because it was abandoned, as I say, 60 years ago. They abandoned after Napoleone. After was
Military garrison.
Then was abandoned. And in 1975, what I like also this island, theater director Jos Grotowski is from Poland. He was a very important theater director because he created the Teatro Povero, Arte Povera, Teatro Povero, and he was the curator of the Venice Biennial Theater, and he used the island for different days in order to do performances and live in the island theater and so on. And so for me it was so interesting, this concept of an island that so important director decided to use. We still found some photo of the island with all the trees abandoned. There was not electricity at that moment. We still don't have. There is not now. There's electricity. We have to say, and so in fact we decided to be I hope in 2024, in 2 years, I hope to be able to start to open a park, because the island will be a museum and will be a place for everybody. So and now I show you my island. This is my island. I'm not able to move. I don't know why, but this is my island, like it is now. So there are 1, 2, 3.
It's quadrato almost.
Yes,
That's
it's really
that's
quadrato.
That's really interesting.
Yes, it's really, there are all the walls, because water, because as you can see there are always vaporetti moving,
So are
and
you
so the
working with-
movement of the vaporetto
Are you working
created.
with an architect?
Yes.
I mean, and
we are-
that's so
yes.
exciting.
I will invite you.
I would love it, and I was going to say one of the things that I think is really great. You know, I live in Rome, and I used to live in Venice, and I write a bit about Venice and around Venice, and I think there's been recently more of an effort to get people around, not just tourists. I mean, Venetians and Italians to see the other islands that are there, and like San Erasmo, and also, I mean, there's been a movement with the rest.
We're just in front of San Erasmo.
Okay, I know exactly. I was just there a few months ago, but I didn't notice the square island.
Yes, it's very.
That's very particular.
It's very particular, and the idea is to have a part for house, also to live, and the other part for art. See, when my collection is read, not through my eyes, of the eyes of my curators, but through other curators that are the director, the curator of other museum, and every time I can really see my collection from different point of view, from different situation, and this is fantastic too.
How big is your collection?
More than 1,000 works, and it's all contemporary. And then
Awesome.
I have more than 3,000 photos, because only for photography. I have also a section of historical photos. That means photo from 1839, 1840, when they start to realize photo. And in this case, the only historical part of the collection is a different collection, because I start through one of my curator, and it was very involved obviously in photography, and so we start to buy also historical photo. All the other works are all realized from the end of the 80s, the beginning of the 90s, when I start collecting. In fact, I always say that at the beginning was a generational collection, really born through the dialogue and the meeting with artists of my same age, galleries of my same age. And now is the second generation, because more or less after 30 years, now I collect the artists that more or less is the same age of my son. In fact, now I have so many. Magali just wrote me, "Dear Mama, how are you?" No, because with many of them there is when they come, when they stay, because when we have the exhibition, the artists come to Torino, they spend time in Torino in order to prepare the exhibition. They live at home with me, so we have a nice relation, and so in a certain way, I'm a mama now, not anymore a general. No, so for.
Now I have to ask you a personal question. You have children. You love art, I can tell. I mean, it's really lovely talking to you and hearing you tell this, because that's how I feel, and it's nice to meet people the same way. Do your children like contemporary art?
Yes, a lot.
Oh, good.
I'm very lucky. I have two sons. One is 35 and the other is 33. And the eldest one, Eugenio, lives in London. He's married. I am grandmother.
Oh,
I have
goody.
two fantastic twins that now in these days are in Torino, and went to London to study management, to come back and to work with his father. Instead, he really discovered contemporary art. And more or less 10 years ago, he opened, after finishing the study, he opened a platform to sell young artists online.
What's his platform?
Art Tuner.
Art Tuner.
Yes.
Art Tuner, yes, okay, I've seen that.
Art Tuner. So obviously for me, it's no profit. My activity for my son is a business.
He's got the
Obviously, I have to do. And so my son loves art. He was here today. So we discuss a lot. We discuss in a good way. I mean, we talk a lot. It's the first time Eugenio just curated an exhibition in Fondazione just of Victor Mann.
Took a while to load, but that's the
Yes.
most recent sculpture, the
This
Capsia.
is our
Oh,
Camaleonte.
this is what you were talking about.
Yes, this is my
chameleon.
Camaleonte.
Now,
And my second son, Emilio, lives in Torino, and he managed the restaurant of the Fondazione. And he's not the chef, he's the manager, but they have the star Michelin, 1-star Michelin, so he's very proud about that. And tonight, this evening, the dinner will be made by his chef.
And
so
who's
my
the
two
chef?
sons is called Romano. Giovanni is a chef from Rome. He was working. Antonio Romano, who was working in what's the name of the hotel, Hilton Hotel. Inside there is a very
Antonio
famous.
Romano? Yeah,
Ah,
he was working with Heinz Beck.
Esatto.
I think I know him actually.
Okay.
Interesting. I think I know him
He
through
just
other
came-
friends.
So
Was he? No, he was not in Pescara for.
maybe yes. I don't know. This night is there.
Okay, I'm gonna go say hello. I
we
think
see
if it's the one,
Yeah.
I think it might be. Now,
Yes,
last question: does your husband like contemporary art?
yes, my husband like
Because of you?
yes, like we discovered in a certain way 30 years ago
Together.
We start. My husband work is a company in renewable energy.
Ah.
That in this moment renewable energy is something.
him?
Let me see, because without
Yeah.
my son.
This is your son?
Yes.
This is your
my-
younger son.
My youngest son.
He's really tall.
Yes, and this was a chef from Lecce. They did 4 hands, 4 mani evening. Yes.
Okay.
And yes, and so my husband is working renewable energy. In fact, in the island we will have, because we don't have electricity, so we'll be all
Yes.
renewable.
This is going to be groundbreaking.
Yes, this was very good. This is very good.
I mean, this is going to be the future.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, and we started my foundation and Asia, that is the name of the company of my husband. We started the same year, 1995.
I didn't realize that.
Yes. And yes, so he loves art. Obviously, when he come with me. Not now, because now with all the renewable energy is every day trying to find a way. Because yes, it's a good moment also, because we hope that finally we will use more renewable energy that gas and oil and so. Yes,
Yeah.
and so now we're in this stage. I have to say that we're a family that we're all involved, because also my daughter in law, together with her we created Arco Lab.
Yes.
That is a project we started.
Arco Lab.
Arco Lab. In Fondazione you will see we have a vitrine in which you will see we put together artists with, for example, the first collaboration with Nicholas Kirkwood. That
Oh,
is
the
a
shoe
showman,
designer, yeah.
exactly. And so Nicholas, together with Paul Neal, that is an artist from Canada. We have one sculpture in our garden, in our park, and so there is the mule, we said,
Yeah,
the
the
shoes.
shoes.
You will see the shoes in Fondazione, designed by Paul Neal. Then Michael Armitage, that is this fantastic artist from Kenya. Together,
Oh, Michael Armitage, yes. Yeah.
Michael, together with Stella Jean,
She's from Rome.
Exactly.
Yes.
They did
The clothing
the
designer.
sweater. You will see the sweater
Oh,
in
I'm looking for it.
Fondazione.
Wow.
Yes, and then now.
Are these pieces that people can buy as
yes,
well?
Yes, and the money of this object that we send go to the educational project and program of the Fondazione Sandretto Re Rebaudegno, because for us education, we didn't speak about education is very important.
Okay.
We used to have 30,000 kids coming every year in the Fondazione to see the exhibition, workshop and so on. And now less, because with the COVID things have changed, but so for me it's very important, education for kids, for adults. On Thursday we are open until 11 free, and we do workshop and activity for a lot of things for people with special needs.
Vision, hearing.
Parkinson, and so on. And so this is another part of my activity.
So
that,
Arco Lab goes directly to that.
Arco Lab, we need the money that we have selling this. In the case of with Michael Armitage, he also have a foundation in Nairobi, so we share.
Oh, very cool. Oh, I can't wait to
yes.
see the club.
Yes, you will see.
So I have a
you will
question.
see.
Do you sleep?
Not so much. Not so much. And on my come dice, tavolino, on my, no, I have my and so during the night is to do, and during the night you can say, I forgot to do that, and so I write, because I don't want to forget
Forget
things,
anything.
and in
Good.
the morning I have to be, no, I don't sleep so much, no, because I'm also thinking, and I have to say that sometimes I'm also thinking that time passed, that I'm not so young, and but that I really don't want to stop, to go ahead, and I want to try to do as much as I can in the last, in the my, I hope many next year to live in, because I think that for me art and all what it means art is so important. I really receive a lot from my artists, my family, my friends, my curators, the galleries and so on. That's really for me it's so important to give back, to share, and then I really believe in collaboration. I really believe that in this way it's so fantastic to live and to do projects.
Okay, don't sleep, because I want to keep seeing more of your ideas come to fruition.
Thank you to Patrizia and everyone at FSRR, Artissima, and Sutton for making this episode happen. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. The editor of Ciao Bella is Mastro. Production manager is Jenna Spray. If you're new to Ciao Bella, take a peek at ciaobella.co, our all-encompassing Italy-focused website, where you'll find insider insight on contemporary Italy, and sign up for our newsletter for new episodes and articles. Follow me on Instagram at Erica Firpo, and follow Ciao Bella on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Leave us a rating or comment. Ciao, ciao!